Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, tonight, Will and Tim proudly bring to you the Think Different Podcast. Welcome, everybody, to the worst Apple podcast of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Will, the TLD Vafinas here. The former Apple G is here with you in your living rooms, in your bus. Hell, if you are on a toilet right now and listen to the Think Different podcast, we thank you very much for joining us. And
do people do that?
Absolutely. I love listening to our podcast while I am going number 2 on the toilet. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, the host of the news segments, the host that is trying to buy a damn house. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Vacation Tim.
What up, everybody? I don't know why we keep saying it's the worst podcast. It's the best podcast ever.
It's the worst. No, because here's the reality of what this podcast is about. There are so many podcasts out there that talk about the specs of the iPhone, that actually buy the stuff and actually take it out and show you real reviews. We do none of those things. In fact, we're not even as prepared as all of those. And I think that people actually like the fact that we're not on the script. So I think it makes it even better. And I want to thank you guys for joining us. And, of course, you want to check us out at ThinkDiffPod on our Twitter. And then, of course, you can join us on the Facebook at the Think Different Podcast. And make sure you leave us a review on iTunes because we need to be more popular.
Yeah, iTunes. You can find us basically anywhere you listen to a podcast. We're going to be there. We're basically in your backyard.
Yeah, I mean, if you actually look in your backyard right now, we're basically right there. You know, in fact, you go to your HomePod or Alexa and say, "Hey Alexa, why don't you play the Think Different podcast?"
It'll play. I don't know if it will, but it might.
Hey, why not? Why would it not? Well, we are available on iTunes, Alexa, and we are now on Pandora now.
Yeah, that's right. That's new, Pandora. That's gonna be cool.
That's right. I like that company.
I wonder why.
Yeah. All right, everybody. So we had a heck of a week, but we have some big stuff going on. We have the news, but also we brought back probably the most popular segment that we did, especially on YouTube, which was the app versus app. And Tim is going to review that at the end of our news segment. But before we get to that, it is time, once again, for Tim's favorite segment that he's never ready for. It is time for the news.
The news. You like that? Different,
yeah,
right?
Oh my God, a little different.
Breaking news.
What we got? We got Apple iOS 13.1.2.7. No, I'm just kidding. Release. Yeah, I know.
There's so many points.
Upgrade. So as we all know, iOS 13 dropped on September 19th. 13.1 dropped on September 30th, which came out with a bunch of batch updates. But what you didn't know is there was a lot of people complaining to @Apple support on Twitter about when they upgraded their phone for a lot of different issues that are related to mail, your iMessages, Face ID, the camera and the flashlight, and the battery life, which is supposed to be essentially approved on the new iOS 13. Basically 13.1 and now 13.11 and now 13.12 by the time you listen to this podcast is fixing all those bugs. 13.12 by the time you listen to this podcast, that's going to fix all these bugs that all of these users have reported. So it's going to fix a bug where the progress bar for an iCloud backup could continue to show after a successful backup. Fixes an issue where the camera may or may not work. We had a lot of those problems with a lot of updates in the past when we used to work at the Apple Store. Addresses the issue with the flashlight, fixes a bug that could result in a loss of display calibration data, fixes an issue where shortcuts could not be run from HomePod, which was one of the big features they showcased at WWDC last year. The Bluetooth may disconnect from certain vehicles during your drive. They fixed that all in the new bug update that's coming out. And yeah, the road ahead, it looks like it's going to be a great jumping point from the previous batch updates that happened with all the other iOS updates. It seems like they have iOS 13 kind of hit on the head correctly, so it should work relatively seamless for a lot of the users.
I really would be curious to know, people, how bad this update was. Now, I experienced a couple apps where they would just crash on opening, so that was extremely annoying. And yeah, people have been complaining about battery life on this. This is a bad iOS start. And to be honest, they weren't ready for it the first time. They just wanted iOS 13 to be out there just before the new iPhone 11 came out. And there's no denying that. There's no... Like, they honestly should have just waited to release iOS 13 for all the other phones until all the bugs were figured out. It's bad. It's just... This reminds me of iOS 11. Because that was pretty bad. That was very bad.
Yeah. That was... Yeah.
You know, 12, I'll give credit, was very, very good. I did not have any problems with 12, but remember, the main key ingredient with 12 was to fix all the problems that iOS 11 did. So it was very small.
Correct.
This one, they finally added new features, and it feels like it's turning into iOS 11 again.
And I think it's just because with the evolution of how much they're actually putting into each of the software upgrades, they can't catch... I guess it's like the bigger the net, the more fish you can catch, so the more bugs they'll find and stuff like that. With the more stuff that they actually promise coming out with each software update. But again, I had no problems, Will, upgrading iOS 13 on my device. I was playing with Will and another former employee that we used to work with, saying that I think it's going to brick my phone because a bunch of people on Twitter were saying that it bricked their new iPhone 11 Pro and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't want to brick it. Like, I like all my data, even though I have a backup. But it's just an inconvenient kind of thing. But yeah, I had no problems. I love the new update.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of perks to it. Like I said, other than a couple apps opening, I haven't noticed anything significant that's been happening to me as far as it's not working. I've had some issues with the AirPods on the watch. I don't know if that's a watch thing, where I'm losing connection in one of my earbuds on one side, like randomly does it. But also, I think my operating system's messed up, and I also think that that's been going on for a while. That is not new. I've talked about it. Going forward, it's bad. I would make sure that don't jump to conclusions that your phone is bad, that operating system issues are going to happen on every single release. So understand that everything is okay. It's like...
Yeah. You're
like...
Take a deep breath.
Take a deep breath. Now, if your phone breaks because of this, and that's happened where phones have gotten bricked because of it, and they don't work anymore, then you can argue to Apple about that and then go from there.
Yep.
And I'll be honest, they're usually pretty good with that.
So this was funny. So I have friends. Will, it's a little surprising, I guess, a little shocking.
You do have friends. I have seen you around other people.
And she texted me earlier this week, and she says, "Tim, you have to share this news article on your podcast." And I was like, okay, I mean, I'll read it. And it was actually a pretty good news article. She's like, then you got to give me a shout out. So, Kajal, thank you so much for sharing this news article that Will and I are able to share.
Kajal?
Yeah, her name is Kajal. Yeah.
Kajal?
Kajal, yep.
I've never heard of that name.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a cool name, right?
It sounds like a pro wrestling name. coming down the aisle, the Kajal.
So great shout out to her. So thanks for sharing us this article about the Apple Card and how Goldman Sachs reportedly spent $300 million developing the Apple Card. Then Apple boasted that it was actually created by Apple, not a bank. Where in a sense, this article goes in where Goldman conceded to Apple's demands to scrap late fees and not sell customer data, and agreed to use its signature font and simplify customers' monthly statements, use about $30 million to build this credit card, and reassign thousands of its engineers to finish it on time. So that means they put projects that were months and months into it on hold to get this Apple Card out to the market. And you know that for a large company as Goldman Sachs, and you're spending that much money, and then you're taking away all these engineers from other projects that are, have deadlines and are trying to make it to market and stuff like that. That's a big deal. And then for the fact that you don't even give Goldman Sachs credit when you release the Apple Card, you go with this whole marketing message created by Apple, not a bank, but it was created by a bank, right? Goldman Sachs is a consumer banking division. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I would say it feels like they're like more like the investor into it, and they're also running it.
But they're also running it, right.
Yeah, and Apple kind of takes care of the software end, and to make sure that people are paying their bills on time, It's kind of because it's all done right on the Wallet app, which, by the way, I just did my first payment.
Same.
On the Wallet app, and everything was good. You just set, it's all automatic, just like everything else. The good thing about this is, like, it doesn't feel like you go through many different windows to do the auto pay or anything like that. It's very, very simple. And I've been enjoying the Apple Card. I've been using it. As far as the physical card goes, I haven't used it once. I used it one time. That was it.
Mine's still in the envelope.
There you go. Like I said, I think that card is more like a marketing tool. I think they kind of wasted money on using that card.
Yeah, I wonder how much they actually spent on the card manufacturing.
I'm sure it's a lot because how thick that card is.
Yeah.
I mean, and the fact that there is the NFC chip technology built into it, so it can wirelessly sync to it. And then on top, if you lose it, they'll send you another card for free, which I think is ridiculous. They should charge you for that, especially that it's a card that you really don't need to use.
Yeah.
Because most of the places I go accept Apple Pay.
Yeah, me too.
And honestly, if it didn't accept Apple Pay, I wouldn't use the Apple Card. I have other cards that can do
that earn the same rate.
3%.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So honestly, that using that Apple Card, if you do that, I'll be honest, it's cool to do it once, and that's it, and maybe show it off, and that's all it is.
Yeah. So that's all the news that we actually had to share for this week.
Yep.
Because not a lot, not too much happened, but we're getting closer. We're getting closer to Apple TV releasing. Getting closer to Disney Plus releasing. There's a lot of stuff coming.
I was going to ask you, did you go and find any other Apple Arcade games in the store?
No, that's funny that you mentioned that. Remember I told you I downloaded What the Golf because I thought it was a funny name and it's like this stupid golf game. I've been playing that almost every day.
Oh, there you go.
It's like because it's like a levels game, so it's like you go to each level and you play these different courses and you keep increasing stuff like that. So it's almost mind numbing and it just passes time. But I played it every day, almost every day. It's kind of funny. Where I told myself I don't play games, but I've been playing that game. I've
been still playing the Hot Lava. That's still my go-to game right now. And I know my wife is starting to use the Apple Arcade, trying to play some games around because now she knows about them. And again, she's someone who doesn't know about Apple Arcade. She doesn't know about the Apple News world. So just educating her on Apple Arcade, and I'm going to see if she finds anything that she really enjoys. But still, Hot Lava is still my go-to game right now, and I haven't really downloaded anything else. So
are you guys on family sharing or?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Duh. Why would I not do that? She lives in the house with me, ladies and gentlemen. My wife lives in the same house that I do. You'll find out.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. All right, so now we're going to get to the next segment of our podcast, which is App versus App. If you go on YouTube right now, you will see our very first one, which was on our second episode. It was Waze against Apple Maps. This time, Tim took the ownership of doing App versus App. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Spotify versus Apple Music.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Yes, so Apple Music versus Spotify. Which music streaming service should you actually choose? Which is better? What will fit your needs, lifestyle, whole nine yards, right? So a YouTube video will be going up later today about comparing these two platforms, getting screenshots of it, my pretty face, and me just talking about it in an extensive view. It's going to be about 25 to 30 minute video, so I do encourage you to watch it. Maybe sip some wine. I was enjoying a nice glass of Allagash White. So Spotify, Apple Music, on the surface level, not much of a difference. Each library has about 50 million songs, right at your fingertips. Tim Cook always sells the Apple Watch how you can have 50 million songs on your wrist. Essentially that's what it is. That's what you get with these streaming services. So you're kind of branching away from these collecting CDs, downloading them, putting them in your iTunes library, paying 99 cents, sometimes $1.29 for songs. That's all gone away. You now pay a monthly subscription for access to all the music you could ever want. How it works, Spotify and Apple Music, they are both $10 a month for your subscription. If you're a student, you now get it for $5 a month, $4.99, but $5 a month.
Is that for both of them, right?
Yeah, for both Spotify and Apple Music. for a family plan, like Will is on with his wife, Spotify and Apple Music are both $15, and it could be up to 6 different users on the Spotify account. I specify in the video, I don't have a family plan, but I have the regular Spotify account, but I share it with my girlfriend. So a lot of the music on there when I was demoing my Spotify account was all like country music, Lizzo, all these random people I would never listen to. Ugh. So I do want to preface that most of the music choice you saw in the video is not mine. And then this free tier, this is where Spotify and Apple Music actually get a little bit different. So Spotify does offer a free platform. They call it freemium in a technology world. So they offer a free platform, but that is ad supported. So you're able to listen to any songs that you want. Access to that 50 million songs library. There's going to be ads in between a couple songs, and you also only get a certain amount of skips per hour, and you also can only shuffle like albums. So say you used to be able to listen to an album from first song to the last song, but now you can only actually shuffle the albums, and you can play around in the queue and stuff like that, and that's completely free. Apple Music, on the other hand, does not offer a freemium model. They actually only offer their Beats One radio for free that you can actually stream through Apple Music. And essentially what that is it's kind of like a curated radio of a bunch of artists picking and hand-picking their songs to play it throughout this radio. It's a 24-hour radio. It's pretty good. We used to play it at the Apple Store a lot when I was in the back of house role. That's kind of what we had on in the background because it had the flavors of everybody. So you do have access to that with Apple Music, but you don't have access to the 50 million song library. It doesn't have any ad support kind of thing. Personal suggestion: if you do the Spotify freemium, I wrote a letter to Spotify because they actually made me switch because of how annoying their ads were. They played the same ad every time, and it would almost haunt you at night, and I would have nightmares about it. So I wrote them and I said, hey, you win. Here's your $10 a month or $5 a month at the time. And so now I pay for the subscription. I don't do the freemium model. Both platforms offer a free trial. So each has 3 months that you can try for free. Make sure that if you don't like it after the 3 months that you cancel it because they will charge you for that first paid month, which will be that 4th month of use. The stream quality, which again from 40,000 foot level will not matter to you if you're not like a music engineer or you're into the music industry and you really could have a good ear to hear the different quality of streaming of the audio. So Spotify is up to 320 kbps Ogg Vorbis or AAC, and then Apple Music is 256 kbps AAC. Will, do you know what that is at all from your experience and professional experience at all, or no?
One's better than the other.
Yeah, there we go.
That's basically it. But some people do. I gotta tell you, when people were coming to the Apple Store and they were importing their CDs, they really cared about the quality of the sound. Because one thing you have to remember, there are certain file types that can only work on like an iPhone. So if you're going to sync it, especially if you're going to sync it, so it is important to know that your quality and the choice of your import settings is very important when you're importing CDs. Now, obviously, Spotify and Apple Music, they make it universally the same. They have their own formats. For instance, Apple uses an M4A format. That is the format that we use. I don't know Spotify's exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm going to let you know, guys, I've never used Spotify. And I think I used it in the Genius Room, and that was like it. And I never used it again. I haven't used it since.
So then there's one other difference. To me, it's a large difference. To other users, it's probably not. But it's these bundle deals. So we talk about, with Disney Plus coming out, how it's going to bundle with Hulu and ESPN Plus. Apple Music doesn't offer a bundle deal. It's kind of its standalone Apple Music application and streaming service. Whereas on the contrary, Spotify actually does these bundle deals. As of right now, for my $10 a month, I get Spotify, Hulu, and Showtime for $10 a month. And for me, that's awesome. I mean, I don't have to pay another $6.99 or whatever it is for the Hulu with the ads. I can get the basic Hulu package with Showtime, which there's a couple shows on Showtime that I actually really like, and I get to stream my music.
How did you get that deal? Can you tell people how you got that deal?
Sure, that's just anybody. They used to have it where students only can have that deal, and now they open up to everybody. So as long as you sign up and you click that you want Hulu and you want Showtime, it's automatically included within that $10 thing. It's on Spotify's website, so they actually like advertise it.
That's a pretty good deal, honestly. I can't say that that's not a great idea. And honestly, I feel bad for people who are paying just for Spotify by itself and not getting those deals.
Cause right, like that don't know about it. So then it's gonna be interesting when Disney Plus comes out. Now Disney Plus is gonna be included with Hulu and ESPN Plus. So what am I gonna do? Like, I'm gonna go get Disney Plus regardless, and I think I'm gonna get that bundle anyway because I want to try ESPN Plus. So then I'll still pay $20 a month. I'll get this $10 Spotify account and then $10 or whatever $12 cost for Disney.
So I got to ask you now, Tim, if you were to combine all the services you have streaming together, what are you paying?
The only one I technically pay for is Spotify, which also comes with Hulu. So I use my brother's Netflix account, my brother's Amazon account, Amazon Video account. But to me, I preface it in the video, to me music is the most important thing to own. Because I like to own my music, and I listen to music almost exclusively throughout the day, whether that's a podcast or my music at work, in the car, I would typically be listening to music watching the baseball game, so music would be on the background. I always have music on everywhere, so to me that's more important for me to actually pay for instead of mooching off someone else. But the other stuff I could just mooch.
You are a mooch.
So,
you are a mooch. I mean,
I am a mooch. But when it comes to November, I will be paying $20 to $22 a month for the Disney Plus and Spotify.
Yeah, as far as Disney Plus goes, I think I am going to get that. I'm not too sure. Now, I actually, besides Apple Music, I also use the iCloud Music Library. So there is for those who don't know this, this was a feature that came out many, many years ago. It's called iTunes Match. And iTunes Match is a yearly subscription for $25. And what it does, over 100,000 songs that you have put into your machine go up to the cloud and automatically install into your machine. Now, how is that helpful? Well, any song that I grab from anywhere, it doesn't matter where it comes from, if I put it inside of iTunes in my computer, it automatically just comes right to my iPhone. It comes right to all my other devices, which is exactly what Apple Music is.
Yes.
So now the reason why I talk about that is the combination of having... Now, one thing I'll tell you, Tim, I actually love having both iTunes Match and having Apple Music at the same time. Especially if I want to grab a song real quick and I'm on my phone, I want to download it, I have it there. Now, the problem with that music is that it's copyrighted with Apple Music. So I can't take that song and put it into GarageBand. I can't put that into Final Cut. I can't put that into Logic.
Yep.
Those are things you cannot do with these because of the way the protection's on there. Now,
Sure.
I'm sure there is software out there that can maybe rip that apart. But for me, my value that I like more is iTunes Match.
Yep.
So if I had to get rid of one of them, I'm paying $25 a year to basically host all my music up on the cloud, which is great because when I was running out of room on my computer, I stored it all on external hard drives, and we all know what that could lead to. So especially if your hard drive fails. So now paying $25 a year is so worth it to put that all on the cloud.
Yeah, I mean, and $25 is a no sweat, right? Like it's...
Absolutely. It just requires you to do work. So if you're going to have your own CDs that you buy or you get the music from somewhere else,
Yep.
wink, wink, which you can easily do, it might be, if you're willing to invest the time, I mean, honestly, you get that. Plus, a lot of people don't realize that Amazon has their own music service. And if you're a Prime member, you're already getting...
You're already getting that, yeah.
You're already getting that. So for me, people are... That's Amazon, I think. To me, that's like Amazon's fault. Because they're saying, hey, here's free music. It comes with your Prime, and you're not even using
video.
it. And video. And I definitely use the video. But as far as the music goes, I don't remember the last time I went in the app and used it.
I never have.
Right. So that's my point, is that they have this music platform that everyone almost pays for. Everyone's got Prime. Mm-hmm. I mean, tell me if a lot of people out here don't have Prime, but you have a free music library right there that does the same thing.
Yeah.
You could download and save them.
Yep.
So to me, it's like I think Amazon is missing out on this trend because they could say, oh, yeah, you could buy Spotify, you could buy Apple Music. Oh, wait a minute. Are you a Prime member? Oh, here's an app. You have it all right there. Now, the library may not be as extensive, but beyond that, you're basically paying for that.
Yeah.
So, overall, what would you say, at the end of the day, I mean, I don't want you to spoil the video, but what would you say is the winner to you?
Bias aside, I still think Spotify has the better platform. You know, Apple Music has these exclusive videos and, you know, things that come with it that the Apple Music exclusive artists have it. That's a cool caveat. The integration that Spotify can actually integrate with basically any smart speaker, can integrate with CarPlay, use it while driving in Waze. There's a player built into Waze of Spotify. There's a player built into Google Maps with Spotify. Just the access to music to wherever you want, Spotify has that plus. And I do want to throw out there, Spotify has a desktop, like a desktop app, so you can go to Spotify.com and play your music. You cannot go to AppleMusic.com yet, but you cannot go to. It's a beta right now, but it's beta.music.apple.com if anybody wants to check it out. You cannot go to Apple Music. I can't be at Will's house and be like, oh, let me log into my Apple Music and go onto his computer and play on his HomePod. I can't do that. I can do that with Spotify. So the access to music for me as a user is greater with Spotify than Apple Music. So in that case, because I want access to my music anywhere I can have it, Spotify wins.
All right. Well, that was very educational. I'm looking forward to seeing the video. That video will be online at the Think Different podcast site. Go check it out. And then you can also see our first video that we put up there. And we also take clips from our episodes and throw them up there as well, just in case some people want to listen to it on the YouTube. So that is it for this week, Tim. We did everything we needed to do. Right now, none of us have gone out there and bought the latest iPhone, paying $1,000 for these phones. Right now, that is not as important to me as other things. You know?
I like it. Life, right?
I mean, honestly, we've had a bad week too. We both lost football games this week.
Yes.
You know,
yeah.
it was a horrible week for us.
JJ Watt just missed that sack and game was over. The Cowboys didn't show up.
No, the offense just nothing. I'll be honest. I will give credit to the Saints defense; did a good job. But I also think that we could have thrown a lot more short passes. We were doing very well with that. And on top of it, there was no like trick plays. Everything was kind of straightforward, and I feel like nothing was wow.
Yeah.
So, well, that's it for this week. Tim, do you have any final thoughts to the fans of the world, especially our friends in Germany?
Yeah. Shout out to Germany. I wish I knew German words and stuff like that.
Du hast mich.
Sure.
That's the only thing
I do encourage you to, if you're not on a streaming service right now for music, try both out. You get the 3 months for free. See what it's like. Watch the video. I go through extensively each of the navigation into each of the applications, all on a mobile device. So reach out to us. Let us know what you think, if you're team Apple Music or if you're team Spotify. But I know I'll be wearing the green and black for team Spotify.
Well, check us out, guys. Leave comments in the YouTube video. Check us out on all of our platforms. Thank you very much for LaunchDM for hosting us on their platform. We are enjoying it. It's been a great relationship, great data for us. Make sure you check us out on iTunes, Spotify,
SoundCloud, Pandora.
SoundCloud. Not so much on
Google
SoundCloud,
Play.
but
Yeah. Google
all
Play.
Those things.
All
those things. Amazon, which you get for free.
We were on Amazon?
You're on Amazon Music, of course.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I put us on every single platform, Tim.
My hero.
I know. I am much better right now than your girlfriend with your housing situation. Thank you very much for everyone for coming out to the Think Different podcast. I am Will. Tim, you go to sleep because you look like you are tired, and have a good night. And
Was that your exit music?
That's Epic Sax Guy. He's playing right now.
Epic Sax Guy.
That's our music now.
Peace out.